My name is Kabir Suharan, co-founder of Pantja. We're currently on the mezzanine of Pantja, celebrating our 5th year anniversary this year, and very proud to present our new cocktail menu, Tribute, which is a tribute to unsung black bar heroes and women trailblazers of past and present. I think for me, history has always been a very important part of who I am and how I approach everything in my life, whether it be music or food or drink. A passion to try to uncover some of the unknown aspects of culture, and in this particular case, some work from some of my favorite historians, David Wondrich and Dwayne Sylvester in America, around the early 2021, I think. This is just as COVID was sort of picking up through the second wave. I realized that a lot of people look at bartending history as the sort of first formations in the 1860s. There was a book written in 1862 by Professor Jerry Thomas, and this book was called The Bon Vivant's Companion, or How to Mix Drinks. And he was a wealthy white male. He was well-to-do, dressed very well, flamboyant. He was charismatic. He was a celebrity bartender at that time. But he was the very first bartender to pen a recipe book of cocktails. However, it's with David Wondrich's work, uncovering a lot of the detail behind how bartending in 1862 came to be. And so in Tribute, our new cocktail menu, we're talking about the stories of Cato Alexander, Martha King Niblo, Thomas Bullock, who was a little later in the early 20th century, and a few others who created the foundations of mixology and hospitality in creating some of the most indelibly classic cocktails that we know today.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
How does it feel to kind of tell these stories where you are? Obviously, you're a London bloke, you live here, like the knowledge exchange.
Well, I think the reception's been great. I think people have known me for a while, known my approach to making drinks has always been one of a historical bent, classic cocktails forward. But people have received it really well because it's not just a list of nice drinks, it's drinks that have a story, drinks that have meaning, drinks that are driven. It's about appreciating people other than ourselves, almost. These people laid the foundation of mixology at a time when, you'd have cubed ice, rock ice, shaved ice, at a time before there was refrigeration. We talk about innovation these days, innovation of taking lake ice from the northern parts of America and Canada into the heat of New Orleans, in Louisiana. That is true innovation, and it was black bartenders that were doing that. So I think people have received this really well and appreciate the fact that we're telling a story, that we have something to say behind a simple drinks list. And as per the knowledge exchange, it's nice to hear other people's feedback as well about, there are other stories that they heard, and there are things that they understand, and little bits of information that they are keen to share too. And I'm really proud to be a part of, to be able to contribute a little bit of this knowledge exchange, like you say, in Jakarta.
I love it.
And in Indonesia.
Amazing. And of course, at the backdrop of all of this is, we're in a bar, it's hospitality. I know you're a music head. Tell me how this even translates to, obviously, the music we hear out of Pantja. Talk to me how that possibly is even connected, if it is at all.
Yeah, I think, we do a lot of things at Pantja. We're a restaurant, bar, music space. And we always said with everything we do, with each endeavor, that we will never serve anything that we don't enjoy ourselves, whether that's a plate of food, or it's a drink, or it's a piece of music. And for all of us, all of our co-founders and our business partners, we all share black music as a genre that we all connect in, whether that be soul, Motown, jazz, hip hop. At Pantja, I'd say we're kind of hip hop space. So there's a nice segue there between the menu, the history of black bartending, but also the history of black music and how we express that at Pantja.
Yeah, ironically, it's actually Black Music Month.
Right, okay.
Timing wise,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Nice.
how timely.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We were trying to get the menu out for Black History Month in
Yeah.
February, but
Yeah, well,
we
Black
missed that
Music
window.
Month,
Missed
you know,
that
it's
window.
all
Yeah.
tied in.
Yeah.
Amazing. So talk to me about Pantja as a whole. I know we're big fans. We come out here. It's known for its stellar programming via cocktails, food. Talk to me about the space in general.
Yeah,
I think this is your, did you say 5th anniversary?
The anniversary, yeah.
Time
Yeah.
flies, my
Crazy, huh?
goodness.
Half a decade.
It's crazy.
Been trying to think about the kind of what's the right way to talk about that, and
Yeah.
I keep on coming to decade of full clip in my head, but half a decade.
Music
half
heads.
a decade. So Pantja stands for 5. Pantja is a Sanskrit word for 5, and it's the 5 things that we really care about. It's great food, great drinks, great music, great hospitality, and great design. So it's an aspect of all of these aspects come together in what we do on a daily basis and what Pantja stands for. So you can come here and have a beautiful dinner downstairs in a non-smoking restaurant. You can come and have a little cocktail, pre-dinner, post-dinner. You can come and listen to music. We've had some incredible artists and musicians come and perform over the last few years. Jazzy Jeff, DJ Vadim, Numark recently from J5. Scratch Bastard, we were just talking about him. So I think there's a lot of stuff that we wish to share. It's been 5 years and looking forward to the next 5 years.
Pretty amazing. What are you seeing in general in Jakarta in this, I don't know if I call it a renaissance, but a shift, in bar culture and cocktail culture in Jakarta, obviously.
Yeah.
How is that, how's that informed what you're doing? What are you feeling? What are you seeing in the city as far as that's concerned?
I mean, it's a really exciting time for the city. I think that, Kennedy, you and I have known each other for 10, 11 years now. And, it wasn't so long ago that we were looking and thinking, where do we go out in the city? Where do we get great drinks? Where do we get nice music and great vibes? But now, 2024, I think we've got a plethora of different venues to choose from small cocktail bars, spirit-forward bars, whether they be tequila bars or whiskey bars, great restaurants doing amazing things, owner-operated spaces, and beautiful music bars too. I hope to see some more of those in the next few years. I think that's something the city could do a little better. But yeah, I think there's a huge plethora of options these days for people to choose from. Since when we opened Pantja in 2019, there probably weren't quite so many, and I'd like to think that maybe we've been able to contribute a little bit to the culture of the scene. And I'm really happy and proud of the city in how far we're moving forward in people expressing themselves and really sharing what it is that they have to offer. It's only through doing that I think the city's going to progress, that I think the city's going to mean something when you compare with other big cities, the titans in Southeast Asia, Singapore, Bangkok, Hong Kong.
Amazing. Well, we're definitely on the right track, I feel like. So it's been, like you said, we've been here for over a decade, right? And kind of seen the city transform. So it's a good time, that's for sure. Amazing. So talk to me, this tribute book, like this is on the cocktail. I saw some, obviously the actual is that something that people can actually have, like the actual books? Or are these
we'll be making it available for purchase. Through our Instagram and when people come into Pantja. It was a bit of a production. It took us a long time to create.
The best things take a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, slow burn.
But it's like the last menu. This is our last menu was the compendium. This is called Tribute. It's a hardback book. And we learned a little bit from the first menu, where we probably put a bit too much information in the pages of the first menu, which is great for those who want to learn about the history of the drinks or how a particular drink came to be or a particular style of drink. But for those people, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on a Friday night, you want a quick view of the menu, get a drink and enjoy yourself. This menu features the history inside a little inlay feature in each of the different pages. So on the first scan of the page, you'll just see the cocktail recipe, the tasting notes, and the strength, going from 1 to 5 in terms of the strength of the actual drink in terms of alcohol. But inside the inlay, you can learn a little bit more about each of the bartenders, the black bar heroes and the women trailblazers.
Pretty amazing.
And that's a way of telling a story of these bartenders that and bar owners and bar gurus that haven't perhaps been celebrated as much as we may have liked.
Tell me, pick a story. Pick one of the stories, actually, because obviously there were a lot. I did skim through a lot of amazing, so fascinating. But tell me something that kind of sticks out to you.
I think my favorite one is probably Martha King Niblo. So this is because she's a female, she's a black female, and so she owned a restaurant and it was called a pleasure garden. This is around the 1850s, around 1852. Her and her husband, William King Niblo, created this space for creative types, for bohemian types that would go and enjoy art, theatre, literature, culture. And her particularly famous drink, amongst many other drinks, was the sherry cobbler. And this is a beautiful one for me because it's steeped in tradition, one of the oldest drinks that we have in the lexicon of American bartending, or indeed global mixology. Arguably the simplest, but probably one of the most delicious too. And many people wrote about Martha King and talked about, if you didn't have Martha King's sherry cobbler, you hadn't lived. And a sherry cobbler made by her hands was the ultimate cobbler. So she was one of my favorites. And it's nice for me to often kind of think, one of the reasons I like history is to kind of go back and imagine what that space was like, that garden.
The energy there.
Yeah. And who she might have been as a person, how graceful she would have been in terms of hospitality, in terms of her art of mixing drinks, to have people write about her in journals and magazines and publications. But equally, some of the challenges that she must have felt as, number one, a female, and there weren't that many female mixologists in America in the 19th century. There were many in England. Barmaids were very, they were very common in England, but in America there weren't many. And as a black female, no less. So yeah, she's one of my favorite stories, and one of the beautiful things about her and her history was that she died sadly, leaving her husband a widower, and it was written about him that he would visit her grave every day until finally he laid at rest next to her. Such was the woman that she is, that she was. That's a beautiful story, and our particular drink, the sherry cobbler, is a very subtle twist, using a few different ingredients, but stays true to the original format of the sherry cobbler that she was so famous for creating. Hi, this is Kabir Suharan. We're in Pantja, Jakarta. We're very excited to launch our new cocktail menu tribute. It's a tribute to unsung black bar heroes and women trailblazers. And this is Globetrotter, signing out.